can email it.
I have the, mine are giant. Do you want one?
I got these from Bucky's.
Oh, there you go.
Apparently I'm going back to New Orleans in August. Back to New Orleans in August
You are?
for volunteer work.
Oh.
Trying to
Jean, are you ready?
to Japan. It's fine.
Gene, you ready? Yes, he's smiling. Nod his head.
Yes. Alrighty. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Amadou. Here. Treasurer Clee.
Present.
Trustee Leverett.
Present.
Supervisor Miller.
Here.
Trustee McIntyre.
Here.
Clerk Triplett here. Trustee Burt. Present.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to this evening's agenda? The only thing I wanted to bring up was at the October 21st meeting, we voted 6-1 for a stipend for the deputy clerk. And the motion that was stated didn't include the fact that just before we voted, I had asked Clerk Triplett if it was a one-time stipend for the presidential election. And what I heard Clerk Triplett say was yes. And so at the next meeting, when we approved the minutes, there was a motion to approve the minutes with the exception of action item D, and we were waiting on that for clarification. So we don't have any new business, so I'd like to, under old business, revisit that.
Deputy stipend.
Yes. Or 9A, deputy stipend. I don't think there's any other additions. Do we have any corrections to the minutes from the January 21st meeting? No? There's a lot of appointments on that.
Yes.
If there's no corrections and no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes from January 21st signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Those minutes stand approved. We'll move on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you'd come to the podium and state your name, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. Now would be your chance. Yes, you.
Hi, my name is Richie Smith. I live here in Flint Township. My first minute would be about basically a cry. 2 years in a row, my water meter blew under my house because the water department put it in a spot where it should not have ever been. Paid for a new water meter last year and this year, just under $400. So this year I decided that instead of having that problem again, I ran the water lines up into the house, into the kitchen, so they could put the water meter upside. They sent the guy out with the water meter, said they cannot install it because they don't approve of the pipe that was used. It's unshrinkable, unfreezable PEX. They said we can't do that. So now I've been without water since last Thursday. Under so much stress, I had another heart attack on Friday, just got out of the hospital. This has to change. I've been putting miles and miles and miles of pipe in people's homes, under trailers, in PEX. Never froze, never popped. That has to go. I don't know who's making them rules, but that has to go, because this Thursday will be 2 weeks without no water in my home. Cannot afford to move. I get a disability check. I don't know if anybody can do anything about it, but that's my gripe. Number two, Genesee County Road Commission. Whoever's telling them to do what they do, or if they're doing it on their own, I'm sorry, but they should be fired. They're putting potholes, asphalt into the potholes on our street. I live on Hatherley. They're just throwing asphalt into wet, muddy, murky potholes. First car with brand new tires pulls it right out. First snowplow pulls it right out. They come and do our road 2 times during the summer, and they come right out the next day. The roads are crumbling, they're falling apart. Number 3, I rode behind Genesee County Road Commission on Flushing Road and on Linden Road for 3.5 hours. What are they doing? Instead of cleaning all the garbage up on Flushing Road, they just ran a street sweeper up and down, east and west, sweeping the garbage into the catch basins. Saw this, witnessed this. Linden Road, they went south and north, sweeping all the garbage into the center of the road. What did they do? Left it there. You got pieces of wood, you got glass, you got bottles, all sitting in the center of Linden Road. Why they're doing it like this? Not sure, but that should not be, because you can't ride in the center of them lanes or make any turns into your driveways or anything without hitting garbage. That's it.
Well, this is not a question and answer time, but our meeting should be very short, and I can speak to you afterwards on those 3 issues.
Okay, the water thing is a big issue to me.
I understand.
I love this town. The police department, 100% on point. Fire department, 100% on point. Medical staff, perfect. If there's ever a call, it's my 3rd heart attack. Can't go through this too much longer.
Understand. We can talk after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Waiting for attention.
That's not how it works. If you have 4 minutes, your time's gonna start now.
My name is Gerald Roberts. I live at 4487 Lindywood Drive. Got a tax bill. Every year my taxes go up. I got to the state and the inflationary rate. When the township gets taken by a prior individual, I'm talking about an individual named Lisa Anderson. And she lived down in Georgia, an established residency in Georgia. State law says that you cannot represent the township when you live in another state or township. That's a felony. She collected 2 months' salary. In other words, and benefits with regard to insurance. That's a felony. She's now suing for additional money. And I read the report with regard to the lawsuit. Discrepancies, lies in that particular lawsuit. In the last meeting, I saw that the Anderson Coalition is still in effect from the voting of members on this board. One of the members had didn't run for office again, but another person came in and took over that particular position. In that particular position, they tried to get Barb off from the Planning Commission. That was part of the Anderson Coalition. Carol Plaff-Daub was part of that coalition when the Anderson Coalition was here. They voted to give her benefits, which was illegal. Now she's coming back and suing the township. I'm glad you spoke up, Barb, with regard to this frivolous lawsuits before, but this one really had to come in. We needed our lawyer, in other words, to go back after her, in other words, as a cross suit. In other words, she wants $25,000 plus two months' pay, plus back wages, or whatever. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We need to stand up, and we need to fight this. There's a difference between right and wrong. There's also a difference when you vote for certain things and there's a conflict of interest. Happened to be maybe a family member, or distant family member. Anytime any member of that board is voting and there seems to be a conflict of interest, they should abstain from that vote. You know who I'm talking about right now, don't you? Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? One last time, anyone else who would like to address the board? I don't see anyone moving, so we will move on to reports.
'73.
Warm in here. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I don't have a formal report this evening. Excuse me? It is. He's turning it down. So I just wanted to mention, I heard some complaints against the road commission, and I can say, if there's any issues that you have with the road commission, they have their own board, and they have meetings twice a month, and they are held at 211 Oakley Street in Flint. And if you have any suggestions or complaints, they'd be glad to hear them there. They're autonomous. They're a county agency. They, however, receive Townships Act $51, and they do our work that a DPW would do, but they report to their own board, but they are also are overseen by Genesee County county commissioners. They're the ones who appoint to the road commissioner boards. So other than that, I know we're supposed to be getting a new website, and that's going to take place within the next few weeks. Is that correct, Tracy? So I got 3 phone calls today asking where the agenda was, and you can find it under the calendar on our website, where if you go for, is it agendas?
It's on the meetings and agendas page.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on there too.
So is there a possibility of somebody giving you, the clerk's office, their email address, and then it automatically goes out like the last software we had?
Yeah, they'll be able to sign on once we get the website up and running. They'll
Great.
be able to sign on from there.
Thank you very much. That's all I have. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
No, you just did it for me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, anything to answer the questions for our residents.
There you go.
Do we have any treasurer's report?
Just to inform you that we did the money transfer that we were talking about with the new Financial Plus next door. We handled that on Kevin and I did Wednesday, Thursday. That's in place. And we have some other monies that are going to come due, I want to say the 20th of this month, and we're looking at another move because of the reduced interest rate on those. So we'll see where that goes. Both of them were in a positive form. And I have to pay the bills.
Okay.
That'll be it.
Do we have any trustee reports this evening?
I have a few.
Sure.
So at the last meeting, several residents came in and they had complaints and complaints about, the township or, the area in the township. And what I was thinking about is, I know on the website, there is like a complaint sheet or something that they can fill out, and I don't know if it's still.
I don't know if it's on the website. I know that I think what you're talking about is code enforcement. If they have some complaints, there's a hard copy complaint form in the building department. I'd have to check and see if it's on the website. I'm not sure.
That's what I would suggest, is like a hard copy complaint form, maybe give it to Rose, and then they can come in and fill out a hard copy for those that don't use the website or that are not internet savvy.
I know anybody who wants to get a hold of us can be on our website. It's info@flinttownship.org, and they can ask a question, make a request. But we'll for sure check out the complaint
There is a
form.
form in the building department for it.
Great.
And then I was in touch with Chief Wangler about the deaths that occurred off of Beecher Road recently. It really bothers me that pedestrians are just simply walking to and from wherever the store or home or, wherever they're going, and they get hit by a car and it's a fatality. So I'm going to be working with the road commissioner to see if we can get like a bike path or something that goes down Beecher Road.
They're gonna tell you, you can have whatever you want as long as you pay for it.
Oh, okay.
So, we have a road advisory committee, and we have a small amount of funds, and we have put in a couple of paths. The township, I think out of their general fund, it was before my time, they put in a bike path, a walking path, a 10-foot walking path from Dye Road to the freeway, 75, on the north side of Corona Road. And then in 2011, we put in a bike path from the city limits, Flint city limits, that heads west on Corona Road, and then it travels south on the west side of the freeway by Muffler Man, and then it picks up the old train tracks and it goes to Linden Road, and then it heads south and it crosses at Norco Road and it goes to our police department. And just this last couple of years, the extension was put in that now goes from Dye and Norco. It'll take you south on Dye Road, and it'll take you all the way to Elms Road Park in Swartz Creek. So we've put in over $1 million for the installation of Genesee Valley Mall, Genesee Valley Center, Genesee Valley Trail, thank you. And then I'm not sure, the extension was like $198,000, but we got grants, and I think our portion of that extension was $81,000, if I remember correctly. But sidewalks and trails are costly, and they weren't part of the planning of the township when it was developing. And I know when they were doing Linden Road, I talked to the road commission about relocating the water lines that are underneath Linden Road. There's grants for that, and it's a very big process. But I mean, it can be part of our strategic plan as we move forward, and we're creating that, but it's costly.
Okay.
You had something, Gene?
Yeah, I was just listening at what you was just talking about, but so the sidewalks are included in the bike path routing, right? That's what you were saying?
No, they're, I think that you're gonna find that sidewalks are a little more costly than a bike trail because they're concrete. The bike trails are asphalt, and they're a bit wider, and you have to get an engineer's estimate. We have not put in bike path or sidewalk in a long while. We did participate with Swartz Creek and put in the extension, was it a year or two ago? On Dye Road, Elms Road, Dye Road,
Because,
Elms Road.
High Road to Elms Road Park.
Okay. Yeah, there you go, that's it.
okay, because if I'm wrong or whatever, you gotta correct me, but I think you were talking specifically because of the pathway down Beecher Road where these accidents have occurred was because people are walking in the street. Okay. I talked about that in the community meeting, that it's a white line that goes down. I don't know if that's an indication of, is that a bike path or what? Okay. But something has to be done in the township about pedestrians walking in the street. Because we got a similar situation out here on Maple Road, and Maple and Linden, going to all the people, a lot of the people go to the work at those plants out there, AI and something else out there on Maple Road, and the bus line only go to Genesee Valley. And so that make those people that got to walk or don't have automobiles or whatever, transportation, they have to get out and walk under that overpass out there. And the overpass is there, but you don't have any sidewalks, so everybody got to walk in the street. So I've been trying to get a hold of the MTA people to talk with them about they need to extend the bus route to accommodate those people that's working out there in the plants or wherever, even in the community. I think some of the young kids be walking back and forth under that underpass. And we got several areas like that. So I'm thinking, I heard Trustee T saying that you would want to do an investigation about that or have an investigate. Yeah. Okay, I'd be willing to work with you on that because of the fact that we're not just talking about those bike paths, because the bike paths or walking trails and all that stuff is specific to off-the-street project or whatever that we paid for and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But something got to be done because we done had a couple of, maybe 3 accidents or more that maybe wasn't severe enough to come to the notice of the township. But something's got to be done because it's a whole lot of places around Flint Township that don't have sidewalks. So we need to kind of really take an in-depth look at it. So,
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Vert, do you have a report?
No, but I have a comment. Supervisor, are you on the Roads and Bridges? Sit on that? Or
For the county? Yes, we meet the third Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m. And then it's followed by the 10 a.m. board meeting. Yes, I go to
we
that.
have the Road Advisory Committee, so I hope that everybody talks together, figures this instead of individuals just going on and about. So, because this has been talked about for quite a few years, about sidewalks and that, so, okay.
Trustee McIntyre, anything?
Yes, I have 2 pretty short things. The first one is in regards to the revision of the rules. Hopefully we'll have an update about that on the next meeting. It's been kind of difficult to try and find a time that works for all 3 of us. But I also wanted to mention if there were any updates or any revisions that anyone on the board wanted to give in regards to those rules. If you wanted to message one of the 3 of us, then we will make sure we take those into account when we meet. The second thing is in a few weeks, I will actually be going on a educational history trip to Cuba. So starting tomorrow, we are actually accepting donations for Cuba that we're going to take over to kind of help them. This will include different over-the-counter vitamins and supplements, personal hygiene supplies, first aid supplies, and feminine hygiene products. These are items that they are desperately in need for. So me and the rest of the students and the faculty that are going over there, we're hoping to kind of bring some stuff over to them in order to help. This will be going on for a few weeks. We're going to be leaving at the end of February, so I'll have a definitive end date for that box at the next meeting. But that'll be set up tomorrow afternoon, and it'll be right out there in that front part of the building. But that is all.
And anybody can just drop it off, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep. As long as they're sealed.
Sounds good. This way. Mr. Leverett, did you have anything else? Alrighty. We'll move on to staff. Mrs. Tucker, do you have a report for us this evening?
Just a couple things. There's rumors flying about Genesee Valley Center, as everybody knows. I received a few more calls this weekend, but I'm still waiting to see something solid as to what's happening. We've been having some meetings with some groups on brainstorming ideas of how to move forward without a new buyer. But we'd really like to know for sure if the buyer is there. I talked to a few of the businesses that are in there this weekend, and got some more information, but everything they're hearing too is rumors, nothing solid yet. So, as soon as we know, obviously I'll let you all know, but, that's where we're standing with that. Eagles quarterly reports were due this week, and so we got those out. Last week got those out. Contacted the county about the senior center quarterly reports, but they still haven't sent me anything. I'm assuming it's because we didn't have anything to report on it yet.
Are you talking for the ARPA funding for their projects?
Yeah, for the CBDG
new
ones.
construction?
Yeah, and, but they didn't send me anything, but the project hadn't started until this month, so that could be why they're on me. So I'm gonna contact them again tomorrow, see if maybe it was just he was out of town or something and just missed the email. So we've
The
got
Eagle
those two.
reports are for, Orchard
Grove.
Grove.
Correct, the community's first project on Flushing Road. If any of you wanna go up there and look at that, I haven't been up there this month, but the elevator shafts are in, and, so they're starting some construction up there, so it's very interesting. I think that's all I had, seems like there was something else I wanted to tell you. Trying to coordinate the embed of the new Civics Plus system with the website, the new website, so I'm working with them. They're supposed to create some time with me tomorrow or Wednesday to get a final for the go live for the website and to get the embedding issues done. So the portal for Civics Plus is open. I think you all got your sign-on information. If you had any problems with that, let me know, because we'll try to figure out what's going on there. So kind of wanted to get everything up and running this week, so we have time to do some troubleshooting and fix any little bugs or anything before the next meeting. So that's where we're at. Right now, I'm trying to do the minutes live in the new system without being dependent on this for right now, because I can still do them in the old system right now, so.
The appointments we made at our last meeting, you're gonna be contacting all the, new members that are gonna serve on boards or committees and, give them information on their start date and duties, correct?
Yeah, they're all in the system, so they should have got something telling them to sign in to be able to get their information. But yeah, as soon as we get this set up, I'd like to get some letters out to them. I did contact, the 3 new planning commission members, because they'll have meetings coming up right away, to let them know, that we have the, zoning ordinance and the future land use ready for them. And then the next ones we'll be contacting will be, ZBA, to see if there's, I did send out to the planning commission members too, some information on training that's available if they want it, so.
Thank you.
Sending that out to zoning board of appeals as well.
Alrighty, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you. Chief Wankler, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do, ma'am. Thank you. Since the last board meeting on January 20th, the police department has responded to 1,291 total calls. This figure includes 833 primary calls and 458 backup calls for service. And a few notes. The closing arguments were last Friday in the co-defendant circuit court jury trial from the shooting that occurred in the Golden Corral parking lot on March 29th, 2022. Today, the 25-year-old ex-boyfriend of Alicia Jackson Skaggs was found guilty on 27 charges by the jury,
Goodness gracious.
including second-degree murder. The jury is expected to reach a verdict in the near future on the co-defendant, which is actually his mother in this case. I'll give an update to everyone when her verdict has been delivered. And then finally, we received notice last week from the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office regarding a plea agreement stemming from the large fire at Sunridge Apartments, which occurred on April 24th, 2024. This fire involved several apartment buildings. The suspect in the case, Yvonne March, was identified and arrested by our investigators that day. She has pled guilty to arson and will serve a minimum of 90 months or 6.5 years in prison.
Wow.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Assistant Chief Raleigh, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Since the last meeting, the fire departments responded to 50 calls for service, including 2 structure fires, 2 vehicle fires, and 1 vehicle entrapment. Tomorrow, we have one of our fire engines going up to Saginaw to have the diesel particulate filter replaced on it. That will be gone for the remainder of the week. The following week, our engine 21 up at Station 2 will be going down to have a radiator replaced. That will be gone for a full week. Lastly, I want to remind all of our residents that your fire department partners with the Red Cross for smoke detector installation. If you contact the fire department at 810-732-4413, we will schedule an appointment, come out and install smoke detectors in your house We will try to get one in every bedroom, the living room, and on each level of the house. So based off of how many levels the house is, how many bedrooms, that will determine how many smoke detectors we put in. But it's all free of charge. Just contact the fire department, and we'll make sure we get them in.
Installations free or the smoke detectors?
Smoke
are-
detect, both,
Both, great.
yes.
Chief, you and I, we'd had a couple phone calls, remember, earlier this week, and I relayed them to you. Folks were asking about CO2 detectors, and your response, it goes to the Red Cross, is that correct?
So I'm not sure if the Red Cross has a carbon monoxide program. The only detectors we're able to get through them is smoke detectors.
'Cause, yeah, we had a couple calls, I had two, you had one, and I'm like, well, I'll check it out, so you and I'll have to delve deeper into that one for CO2 detectors.
CO.
Yes, sorry.
Alrighty, do we have any committee reports?
Good evening, John Whiteside, Road Advisory. I don't really have a prepared report, but I can give you an update. Our meeting last month, we're working on the Lindenwood Farm area, Maple and Linden Road. Have a lot of work to try to get done in there. Obviously, we don't have all the money that we would need to do that. So we're working with the engineer, trying to get some spot repairs, just fix the worst areas to try to address, because some of them roads are really bad. Sawgrave is bad, Dixon, parts of Staunton, and the other roads in there, Northway and Southway, which runs off a die road. I know the first 500 feet of those roads are really bad. So we'll just, if the residents see only a part of a fix on the road, that's the best we can do. That's just all the money we got. As far as the resident asking about the road commission is the people who do the work for the township. We have no say on how they do it, what they do. And I know Supervisor Miller talked about the Genesee Valley Path. I believe that was a federal grant that paid for that. There has been discussions about sidewalks, but I'm not sure the language of the road millage. I don't even know if we could use road millage funds for sidewalks. When we did that, we wouldn't fix roads. So that's just a concern I know everybody has, but hopefully we'll have a better report next meeting. We'll maybe narrow down what we're gonna do in there. I know Mike Pfeiffer's supposed to get back with us at our next meeting, and that's next Monday,
And we changed the time to 1 PM, right?
30.
1:30.
Yeah,
Thank you.
1:30.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you, John. I don't think there's any other committee reports. We'll move on to number 8, payment of bills.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. All you trustees, I know you should have received the information via email or came in and looked at the packet. Motion would be to approve the payment of the invoices in the amount of $1,646.13. And then besides that, the payment of tax distributions in the amount of $6,781,362.84 as authorized by the board's purchasing policy per section 8, and that would be my motion.
Is there a second to the motion?
A second.
Any questions or discussion?
I would like to bring up again, as always, that distributions are, we collect taxes for folks, and we have a timely basis that we must turn around and write a check out of the Flint Township to Genesee County. Flushing schools, Swartz Creek schools, Carmen Ainsworth schools, we're a pass-through in that respect. So what you're seeing there are all of us paying our taxes here, and then our department cleaning it up, squaring it out, and seeing who goes to each of these other, and that's where those distributions are being pushed out to.
Any questions or discussion or concerns for Trustee Clee? Treasurer Clee? I'm sorry.
We're all trustees, but
I know, hearing
no
none.
issues.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on paying the bills in the amount of $1,646.13.
I did have a comment.
Sure.
There were 2 checks that I did pull from the check roll because of the, I think it was something in there that the board should have voted on and we didn't, so I did pull those. And I'm sharing that information with the trustees.
Yeah.
Treasurer Clee,
Yes.
Trustee Leverett,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Burt?
No.
Trustee Amadou?
Yes. Thank you, Board, for moving the authorization of the distributions to where they need to go.
And paying the bills. Are there any correspondence or informational items? Yeah, thank you. So we'll go to old business, and that is the deputy stipend. There was a motion made at the October 21st meeting to authorize, to increase the deputy stipend by $5,000. And I asked, right before we took the vote, during discussion time, if it was going to be a one-time thing for the presidential election. And my recollection was that you said yes for the presidential election, and then we voted. Then at the next meeting, when we went to approve the minutes, we did approve those minutes with the exception of action item D, which was the stipend, the deputy stipend. I asked if we could get clarification, whether it was a one-time thing or a permanent thing. So there wasn't a lot of description in the motion, and so I'm going to ask the board if they would like to clarify that, whether it was a one-time thing or a permanent thing, and we'd have to clarify the motion. So the motion was for the deputy stipend, the deputy clerk to receive the stipend in the amount of $5,000. She already receives one. The additional was for the extra work during a very busy election cycle with new rules and nothing we had to establish, the clerk's office had to establish that. So a motion would be in order to clarify whether it was a one-time thing or a permanent thing.
You need someone to make the motion?
Sure.
Okay, make the motion as what you said, or I think that we need to make the motion that it be permanent for everything she does.
Stipend would be permanent? Okay, is there a second?
Not just for the elections, just for
Right,
every
so-
day, yeah.
It is for elections. I take that back. The stipend is for the deputy clerk, and that's what the stipend is for. And you're suggesting that it go from $5,000 to $10,000 permanently. That's what you're saying.
5,000 to 10,000.
She receives $5,000. The deputies receive $5,000 for being a deputy. The request was for additional because of all the extra work. We needed to clarify whether it was a one-time thing or a permanent thing. And you're making a motion to make it permanent? Sure.
The additional 5,000 was due to the fact that Tracy Tucker, in addition to doing her other job, was doing additional work in the clerk's department, as opposed to hiring a full-time person, which was something we've been visiting. And I think even the previous clerk, Kathy Fung, had the same problem where the board would not vote to have 2 or 3 people in the office, full-time. So Tracy has been doing this work even prior to me coming here. She did it for the previous, but the other clerk left. This is work that she was already previously doing. When I came, I did ask for an additional stipend for her because she does the website, she does the agenda, she does the work of a whole nother full-time person. We wouldn't be paying her for a full-time person, because we pay the full-time person, we'll be paying up to at least $60,000, maybe even health benefits. So the additional stipend, and I did make the mistake in probably saying yes, I'm not sure, I had a couple of things going on, that was my mistake. But I am clarifying now that additional stipend was due to the fact that she do additional work for the clerk's department. We have one full-time person in there, and Tracy is like our backup, that do all the other things that another full-time person will do.
Okay.
Questions for me?
But not just for the election. You want to have
Right.
it ongoing.
Right, this is why you
Payment
have your packets in
all the
front of you.
time.
Right.
Right. So that's what I'm making the motion
Agenda
as.
packets, and just one of the,
Are you making a motion?
You make the motion, and then we'll be clear on it.
I'd like to make a motion that the motion that we made on October the 21st, 2024, for an additional stipend for deputy clerk would be in addition to a $5,000 stipend,
That's the motion. Is it one time or is it permanent?
permanent.
permanent. Is there a second to the motion?
I second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah. Well, I was called into your office, Manya, and you had told me how you started out was, I've talked to you about this before, and I said, okay, what is it? And you hadn't. And you said it was for this election only. That is what you said, and that's what's on the video. That's what's on the video.
And I just clarified that. And I
So-
said I possibly did make a mistake, and now I'm making a clarification that at that particular time,
So how many
I may
times you
have
say
did say
times
that.
one for the election, and you say that's a mistake? How does
I
that make
said
sense?
it one time.
Okay.
I'm saying it now.
Well, you
I'm not
did.
here to argue with you, Trustee
Anything
Burke,
else, Trustee Burt?
Yes.
Go ahead.
at all.
So, okay, we don't need to argue. Can't even believe we're even talking about this because I don't understand
can.
it. Because, Tracy, you have a full-time job as Economic Enhancement Director. You're not the clerk. You're the deputy clerk, and there's a difference. So I will not support this, and this should have been discussed way before tonight.
Any further discussion?
So, let me just make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Again. So, she's doing the work of more than just what the deputy, so she has a job, like Bert just said, she has a job. And she's also going above and beyond to help the clerk's office. And instead of paying someone full-time to do that, we're just gonna give her an extra $5,000 on a permanent basis?
So you can't be in two places at one time.
Right.
When she's working in the clerk's office, she can't be doing economic development. So we are paying her, her salary to do that job. She's getting a stipend. Right now, the deputies get a $5,000 stipend. The request is for an additional $5,000 stipend. That's what we're talking about, to do that job. So the deputies serve in the absence of the official, whether it's clerk or treasurer or supervisor. And technically, if we followed what the red book says from MTA, the board should be voting on additional duties of what they do outside of serving in the absence of the official. So that's a conversation for another day. The question today before us is that stipend, the additional $5,000, gonna be the one time? Or you made a request for permanent, right? That's the motion.
I would like to, can I
Sure.
interject? I'd like to move that we table this, as Trustee Vert said. There needs to be additional clarification on what this was, and rather than to handle it right now, we need to have all 7 of us have an opportunity to have that conversation. I would like the option to.
The only way to have all 7 of us have a conversation
understand
is
that.
in a
Well,
meeting.
We can meet
understand.
separately. You're
But
talking about 3.
folks can have a conversation with the clerk and figure out what this is, but rather than to have this discussion, I think we need to have this tabled and get it clarified for the next meeting. But I know there's a motion on the floor, so.
Right.
So you're suggesting a motion to postpone. Is there a
Motion to postpone, yes.
second to the motion?
No, but.
There's no other
We got a motion
discussion.
already on
No,
the phone.
I'll second.
But a motion to
A motion to postpone takes precedence.
supersedes.
So
Correct.
he's got a motion, you've got are you saying yes, Barb?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call please on, well, we could do this by voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. So we've got a 6-1 vote on postponing. That's that. Is it coming back to the next meeting then?
Yes, it probably will. Yeah.
Yeah. That next meeting is February 17th here at 6 PM. And if there's no further business, and
One
without a.
thing, one thing.
Go ahead.
Karen had mentioned this earlier in the hallway, and to myself and to Jean, and I'll mention it to the other gentlemen out there. There will be no other notifications until after the 17th, but all you guys out there, that special person, there's a day that falls in that time frame that if you're going to be getting that special person, guy or gal, doesn't matter, on the 14th something, you better, he and I were reminded of that at 5:30 to make sure we do that. So I'm just throwing that out there as that remembrance to get somebody special, something nice. That's it. And it happens to be my anniversary,
Oh,
39.
happy anniversary.
39.
So if,
I'm the one reminded you guys.
I know, well, y'all
Keep you
did.
out of trouble.
Y'all
without objection and with no further business, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Keep that truck